I'm here with my friend Ernest, and we are talking about tapping out of vicious cycles. So, Ernest, why don't you tell me a little bit about how you came up with that topic?
Well, many years ago, I have had issues that keep reoccurring, sometimes at long intervals, sometimes at short intervals. And they were events that never made me proud, and I was never really happy about them. The first had to do with job loss. I woke up one day about 25 years ago, and the job I had, I was told to leave it. And then about 13 years ago, okay, yeah, about 13 years ago, same thing happened. And recently, same thing happened again. And I asked myself, so when you gave us the opportunity to have these 15 minutes of talking about a very unique topic, the first thing that occurred to me was, what am I going to talk about? And it occurred to me that the most excellent thing was talking about what my friend many years ago called the vicious cycle.
Yeah, yeah,
I've had to try to get married several times, and each time the relationship ended up almost the same way, and I never seemed to like it. Then also finances. There was someone I owed sometime, and I tried to pay him back. Each time I had opportunity to pay him back, I ran into a challenge. And he will always appear at the end of it. And when I discussed it with a friend of mine who is a medical doctor, he said, "Oh, it's called a vicious cycle."
yeah,
So I now said, maybe vicious cycle cut across every aspect of our life. It could be going to school. Some of us have to go to school 3 times. Some of us have to have relationship 3 times. So I now told myself, okay, maybe we will talk about getting off the train of vicious cycle
yeah.
and maybe creating new endearing patterns. So that was where I now said maybe that's what I'll discuss and tap with you if it's okay by you.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a great topic. It's kind of that Groundhog Day where we keep waking up to the same circumstances, and that's because of who we think we are. And if we keep recreating our lives out of this misunderstanding of who we are. It's why Dr. Joe Dispenza wrote a book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Because if you think of who we can look at at the results we're getting, especially if we're getting them over and over again, and say, okay, what's the common denominator? What's that belief about myself that I can't ever reach this goal, that I keep having this thing show up in my life? So yeah, let's do some tapping on that. So everybody go ahead and close your eyes, take a deep breath in and hold it. And just allow yourself to be aware of maybe some of the vicious cycles in your life, those patterns that keep reappearing. Maybe allowing yourself to be aware of what that might seem to mean about you, what you might be believing about yourself, such that you keep getting the same result, keep falling into the same behavior patterns. Notice what you feel in your body, physically and emotionally. Notice what thoughts, beliefs, or memories might contribute to whatever's going on inside. Take a deep breath, open your eyes, and taking full responsibility for your own well-being, let's go ahead and do some tapping here. Even though I fall into these vicious cycles,
Even though I fall into this vicious cycle,
I choose to love and accept myself.
I choose to love and accept myself.
Even though I have some vicious cycles in my life,
Even though I have some vicious cycle in my life,
I choose to love and honor myself.
I choose to love and honor myself.
Even though I have some vicious cycles in my life,
Even though I've had some vicious cycle in my life,
some unfortunate things have happened
some unfortunate things have happened
over and over and over again.
over and over and over again.
And part of me is thinking,
And part of me is thinking,
is this the way it's always going to be?
is this the way it's always going to be?
And even though I have these vicious cycles,
And even though I have this vicious cycle,
I choose to deeply and completely
I choose to deeply and completely
love, honor, and accept myself,
love, honor, and accept myself,
and maybe anyone else involved,
and maybe anyone else involved,
because I choose to be that free.
because I choose to be that free.
All these vicious cycles,
All these vicious cycles,
all these vicious cycles,
all these vicious cycles,
these cycles of circumstances,
these cycles of circumstances,
these cycles of behavior,
these cycles of behavior,
because the results I get
because of the results I get,
usually come from the actions I take.
usually comes from the actions I take.
And the actions that I take
And the actions that I take
usually come from the thoughts I'm having
usually comes from the thoughts I'm having
and the feelings that I'm having.
and the feelings that I'm having.
So it may be a vicious cycle of thoughts,
Or maybe a vicious cycle of thoughts,
which lead to these results.
which leads to these results.
So I choose to change my mind.
So I choose to change my mind.
When I look at these vicious cycles,
When I look at this vicious cycle,
these things that happen over and over,
the things that happen over and over,
what do I think that means about me?
what do I think that means about me?
What does it mean about what I'm capable of?
What does it mean, what I'm capable of?
What does it mean about what I deserve?
What does it mean about what I deserve?
And the more it happens,
And the more it happens,
the more I believe these things.
the more I believe these things.
And I choose to change my mind.
And I choose to change my mind.
I am worthy and deserving of more than this.
I'm worthy and deserving of more than this.
I'm worthy and deserving of better than this.
I'm worthy and deserving of better than this.
And I choose to clear any argument against that.
And I choose to clear any argument against that.
There may be a part of me
There may be a part of me
that falls into these vicious cycles
that falls into this vicious cycle
because part of me is addicted to it.
because part of me is addicted to it.
It feels familiar.
It feels familiar.
And even though it might be uncomfortable,
And even though it might be uncomfortable,
part of me thinks it feels safe.
part of me thinks it feels safe
Because of who I thought I was.
because of who I thought I was.
I choose to break these vicious cycles.
I choose to break this vicious cycle.
I choose to break any addiction to my old self.
I choose to break any addiction to my old self.
I choose to break the habit of being my old self.
I choose to break the habit of being my old self.
I choose to remember who I really am.
I choose to remember who I am. I really am.
I am a magnificent child of the universe.
I am a magnificent child of the universe.
I am worthy and deserving of the best this world has to offer.
I am worthy and deserving of the best this world has to offer.
There is nothing that is too good for me.
There is nothing that is too good for me.
And as I allow myself to know that,
And as I allow myself to know that,
I think differently.
I think differently.
I feel differently.
I feel differently.
I behave differently.
I behave differently.
I take different actions.
I take different actions.
And those yield different results.
and those yield different results.
So I break the vicious cycles.
So I break through the vicious cycle.
And that part of me that fell into vicious cycles,
And that part of me that fell into vicious cycle,
it's not because I was bad or stupid.
it's not because I was bad or stupid.
It is not because I was weak or lazy.
It's not because I was weak or lazy.
I just got confused about who I was.
I just got confused about who I was.
And I'm clearing up those misunderstandings,
And I'm clearing up those misunderstandings,
allowing myself to remember how awesome I am.
allowing myself to remember how awesome I am.
And that breaks me out of the vicious cycles.
And that breaks me out of the vicious cycle.
It changes everything.
It changes everything.
I love and appreciate those parts of me
I love and appreciate those parts of me
that were just trying to keep me safe.
that were just trying to keep me safe.
And now I'm setting myself free.
And now I'm setting myself free.
Remembering who I am.
I'm remembering who I am.
And creating different outcomes.
I'm creating different outcomes.
Because there is nothing that is too good for me.
Because there is nothing that is too good for me.
I am worthy and deserving of love and respect.
I am worthy and deserving of love and respect.
I am worthy and deserving of joy and abundance.
I am worthy and deserving of joy and abundance.
And I'm creating wonderful cycles of good things.
And I'm creating wonderful cycles of good things.
Wonderful things just keep happening to me over and over again.
Wonderful things keep happening to me over and over again.
And I'm joyfully allowing this.
And I'm joyfully allowing this.
In body, mind, and spirit.
In body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. Close your eyes, go inside. And say, it's okay for me to be in a cycle of good things happening. How's that feeling, Ernest?
Tremendously, very nice.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is just allowing ourselves to see, okay, what part do I play in those old vicious cycles, and is it coming from a misunderstanding about who I am and what I deserve? As we clear that up, we can't help but, if we think differently, as they say, and folks can keep tapping here, if we always do what you've always done, you always get what you've always got. But if you always think what you always thought, you're always going to do what you've always done. And it's allowing ourselves to think differently about ourselves and what we're capable of and what's possible for us. So excellent subject. Thank you for sharing that, Ernest, and for prompting this video. I'm sure it'll benefit a lot of folks.
Thank you so much. I really, truly enjoyed it. And it's really a pleasure meeting you again, this time in person.
Likewise, Ernest. It's a pleasure meeting you as well. And thank you to everyone who's tapping along with us. And when there's more stuff that gets in your way, I'm here for you. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.